The energy in today's message feels like urgent, almost like I need to tell you this. This thing needs to get out. And there's like a time sensitive aspect to it almost. Side note is always remember to look in the description. I always give some goodies in there. I feel this one's going to be something where I have to re-articulate it there for you almost. So I really just do that to simplify here the message for you, and leaving that channeled extra detail or complexity in the description is just there for those who want to dive deeper, but don't necessarily have to, because I'll do my best to simplify. Who I'm speaking to today, you kind of are at a point in your healing journey where you're going to be tested, not in the same way you've been tested in the past. There's definitely like a fork in the road here with the types of tests you're being given. The ones coming for you, upcoming, are going to feel less emotional and electrically charged. These tests are not going to feel like the survival tests that you've experienced in the past. They're more going to be the universe almost like asking, can you hold the gifts that I'm about to give you? It's very small, manageable, grounding type of test, which is an act of love, really, from the universe. It's not punishment. These are just testing the frequency in which you're holding. The first thing that comes up is you've recently begun a review process of yourself that feels very intense. I don't know what change has caused this type of auditing that you're doing, but it almost seems like you now have the space for the first time in your life. And that space, however it manifests for you, is allowing you to really review yourself in ways you haven't before. There's like just an abundance of space to be able to really get down and start reviewing old files. That's the only way I could describe this energy. One of the things I see that you've been mentally chewing on for a little bit here is, this is kind of complicated, I think, it is like the effects of your kindness throughout your lifetime. It's interesting because you're looking at your kindness as a sort of downfall in some way, like you're overly kind or you've done too much to care for others in some way. You've given too much. And I see you holding the perspective now that that has gotten you in trouble, and you're leaning into what it means to be more mean or more ruthless, more selective. I just see you reviewing this like kindness with like a critical lens almost, where it hasn't served you in some way specifically. Another thing that's being presented to me is your approach to relationships seems important. I'm not really sure how this relates to the kindness, but maybe it's that overgiving theme here. What this is focusing on, though, is you might be the type that chooses people very selectively that you allow close to you. So you've always just kind of longed for deeper connections rather than superficial ones. And this has been, as a result, kind of challenging for you, because I see with deep connections that you've tried to pursue, they also have more power that they hold to hurt you and betray you in some deeper way. So the deeper the connection, the deeper the pain. And I see that's been an ongoing battle with you, instead of having a lot of superficial connections like maybe people do, where they kind of spread out their love and their connection force. Is I see your energy is very much focused. It wants something deeper. It doesn't want that superficial balance in a way. It's kind of like high risk, high reward type of mentality with connection. Like, I don't see this as bad at all. I see both sides of it. I see the superficial side where people protect themselves by not going deeper, but I also see that they don't ever get a real relationship, as where I see you kind of are focusing in on, no, I don't want the superficial. I want the real, even if that means deeper pain. This is like energy of someone who doesn't say I love you very quickly in a romantic sense. There's a guarding here. There's a guarding for your heart. Like, others definitely love you quickly, I see, because I do see that they like sense you in a way where you radiate loyalty because of this trait of yourself, where you don't chase superficial things. So people trust you much quicker than the surface level type of people. Randomly, I sense also here, as a side note, that words might mean a lot to you. And this kind of goes hand in hand, I think, with that deeper grasp of connections, is words have a deeper impact on you as a result. it can kind of sting more. You hold on to them longer than others might. The last thing here for who this message is for is I think it's coming through as like your tendency to not allow or accept help easily from others or externally. I see there's a deep past life connection here that you're healing, and what this is tied to. You're much more comfortable taking paths of healing or helping others. You want to be relied on rather than relying on others. This seems to be directly tied to the abundance of healer energy that you possessed. In a past life, what I'm seeing is you have always had excess energy that wasn't channeled properly. So it was kind of overutilized by others. And you might have experienced this at earlier points in this life as well. It's almost like it has to be siphoned in a way because you possess so much excess. It was just natural because there's like energetic laws here at play. You cannot hold an excess of energy that's not going anywhere. So naturally, it attracted those who were desperate for healing because you possess so much excess healing energy that you weren't funneling properly. But I definitely see you correcting that now. And you probably feel that. That probably resonates with you. Is I see you understanding this energetic law, maybe not consciously, but you're doing it where you're funneling it the correct way at this time. This message feels really loaded and with a lot of randomness, and I feel like it's going to be long. So bear with me as we get through this. I'm kind of getting this to be like full circle energy that's coming up now for your message. Is something in the past has happened to you. This could be anything because it's not really showing specifics. For example, it could be a job you walked away from, and at the time, everyone thought you were insane for doing so. Or it could be a family that you made a firm decision about and that others didn't agree with. Or it could be more romantic. The important part here is this was making a judgment call about something, and the surrounding energies at the time of your decision did not support you doing this. In fact, there was like a lot of friction and a lot of like, you're crazy type of response from others. And there's like this full circle energy that's coming about now with the way this message is forming. On their end, the people surrounding this decision, there was a ton of confusion about what you were doing and how this is applicable to you, whatever this was. It could be that it just didn't compute or resonate with their energy at the time of the circumstance. What I see, though, is, again, really just this full circle moment. And it's very much in line with the upcoming energies that are charged from this lunar eclipse. It almost just is being supported energetically by the universe at this time to complete this circle. There's going to be a moment where you get what you deserved upcoming, is what I'm sensing. I feel during this decision that you made, during this pivotal moment, whatever it was, whether it be like a big decision or a little decision, it just was met with an opposing energy. But at the time of making that decision, you couldn't get the validation you deserved because the energy around you wasn't operating at your higher level. At the time of whatever this was, you really did deserve to feel seen or validated or reflected back in some critical or pivotal way. But whoever this was couldn't give it to you, even though you were highly reliant on it and it hurt so bad to not get that. You still made the really hard decision to give it to yourself at the time. That was very critical to your learning journey as a soul. So don't think that it was in vain. It was actually very important that you went through that opposition energy and that no one really understood how to validate you at the time. So if this is a person, I see a return energy here that is really too loud to ignore. This could be an old coworker reappearing out of nowhere to kind of like tell you it made sense to them now, or that they understood the decision, or like an old boss or friend circling back after something happened with them. I also see that love here could apply, but I don't think it's important about that we focus too much on who's coming back and how they feel. I think the important part of this message is I want you to hear that the validation from them is too late and it won't resonate with you the same way it would have during that collapsing energy or that pivotal decision you made. The validation in the past during your decision wouldn't have fed you in a healthy way. I see it would have blocked you and your path. and it was supposed to come back now in your more healed version. So the Saturn energy here that I'm being shown has timed this perfectly to test you in some very important way. I have no doubt that you will pass this test, but it's more so just the universe kind of, again, making sure you can hold those future blessings by doing this. The feeling of validation that they present to you, however it is presented, I see you feeling emptiness from that. And it's the exact confirmation you need to move forward in some way. Like it unlocks another level of trust in yourself that you might need for an upcoming decision again. Okay, so a couple of last minute channels came through here as I'm trying to conclude the reading, which I just think is funny. I have no control. So skin issues or flares could be important at this time. I also see some things about fasting being beneficial during this eclipse as a very specific note. So I'll leave more about that in the description for you if that resonates. So Spirit's main message today seems to be involved in what feels like an echo chamber type of test for you with this returning force, whatever it is, and how it validates you. I feel I'm being guided to explain that the validation you may receive from whatever this energy is only in existence because it is your energy being echoed back to you in some way. I think the way to look at this differently, or the way it's being framed to me, is you might perceive validation to be that someone has changed their mind, or that they finally see you, or that, this is the moment, when it's more of just the reflection of your power instead. It's not about the external person at all. So it's not you're more powerful because they now observe it and they say it to you directly. It's more you're powerful because you created the original frequency that cannot be dissolved. And so the only thing left for it to do is return back to you eventually. And that's your echo. So what you're seeing is your own power when people come back like this, but not in the way that we conventionally believe. We're not seeing our own power through their perception. We're seeing it in a very literal, energetic way. I think we often believe validation is the ultimate gift that we can get because we can change someone's mind, or we feel seen or good or whole. But Spirit is kind of making an important distinction here, is that nothing's changed with this person or their mind or this circumstance. It's just they are a vessel carrying an energetic law that delivers your energetic resonance back to you. And that is your real validation. It really has absolutely nothing to do with the mind of another or the external vessel as a whole. And it feels important that I repeat that again for some reason. You are on a new journey now where the validation from others will continue to feel empty. And that's good because it's showing you it's merely an echo from you, from yourself, and that you made that yourself. In the past, I think it didn't echo because it was kind of the main sound. It was the main frequency, the main energy. And now that it's shifted, it's kind of calling you back inward to see where it came from in the first place. And that's kind of why it feels so empty as a result. So this is very much all divinely timed for you. Saturn here is reapproaching you to show that the cycle has truly closed. And Pisces is the one that kind of seals it as the last sign in the zodiac to represent and embody completion. Eclipses expose what's hidden and collapse what no longer belongs. This is why echoes feel empty now and not like they did in the past, is because it's surfacing only to be cleared, not to give you something special that you thought you wanted in the past. So, in other words, the return isn't about what they think about you or them. It's about you seeing your own resonance and hearing your own sound one last time before the eclipse finishes the purge. After this, the echo kind of dissolves and you walk away carrying the original frequency that was always yours to begin with. This last part is maybe a confirmation to those who already instinctively know to do this, but keep leaving comments. The comments themselves do not have to be anything personal about you. Think of these as energetic nudges This helps me align to your energy more efficiently and be able to channel for you. And I want to be able to do that. I read each and every one, always. None are missed, none are ignored. I am so thankful for each and every one of you and love you all. So, cheers, friends.